Hey guys, it's Anna/BunBun for PastelBunBun.com, and this is a very highly requested video for a resin tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to do 2 layered resin and then doming on the back. So it'll just be like your image or whatever on your bottom layer with your color layer on the back and then doming. So these are just some pieces that are pre-done. You're going to need your resin. Please follow the instructions for your resin. They are not all the same. Some are 2:1 ratio, some are 1:1 ratio. So just find your instructions and follow them. Going to need some cups to mix your resin in. I just get mine from the dollar store. They're just like cheap rigid cups, and I like the ridges so they help me measure my resin, and it's just a big stack of them from the dollar store. You're going to need some stirring utensils. I like to use the jumbo popsicle sticks. These ones are multicolored. Some lollipop sticks, or like even normal like stirring sticks that you can find from like resin shops. All those things work. You're going to need some molds. This is my whole drawer of molds. It's just like a big 12 by 12 canvas drawer. You can use like cupcake silicone liners, normal silicone molds, just about anything. The plastic molds, there's so many stores online or like destashing, like on Facebook and stuff, that you can get these kind of molds from. So just search them, like Store Envy, Etsy, eBay. You're going to need some stickers or images. If you use paper stickers or ones printed off the internet, you need to cover them with tape or like Mod Podge, some kind of a sealant. I also have a tutorial for that. You can just check it out in my other videos. But I really like to use the like epoxy type stickers, but you get a lot more creativity with paper stickers as well. You're going to need some type of colorant, whether it be a pigment or glitters or multiple different things to change the color, the back of the color of your pieces. So this is just all the glitter that I have and the type of colorants that I like to use. You can use things like nail polishes or glitter flakes, different brands, paints. I have multiple different paints. Liquid pigments or powdered pigments, but make sure that any type of paints or liquid pigments that you shake them, or else it's going to prevent your pieces from drying properly. You can also use eyeshadows as well, and I like to use these like little confetti pieces into my resin pieces as well. And when doming the fronts or the backs of your pieces, I like to use some type of a mat. I like this type of mat because when it pours over, you can just pop it out like I'm showing in the video here. You can just pop them out of the actual mold itself. And I like to save the little bits that I actually like full because they look kind of cool. They're like little octagons. And plus, if you really need to, you can just pull it right off. You can use a heat gun to get rid of your bubbles or straw. And here I am just mixing my resin. You want to mix it until the fogginess goes away. That goes for all resin, no matter what the brand. You're going to mix it until all the cloudiness goes away. Mine's pretty much pre-mixed. And it is actually loaded with bubbles. That's kind of a false statement. You do not need to mix your resin super slow so that you don't get any bubbles. You can have bubbles, just use a heat gun or a straw to blow them out. And here I am just pouring my resin into the molds. I did not heat up the resin at all in the cup. I'm just pouring it straight into the molds with the bubbles because it is much easier to pop all the bubbles with your heat gun or with a straw after it's already been poured into the molds. So just like heating it up in the cup is just going to make more of a problem, maybe even melt the cup or make it harden too quick. So now get your heat gun or your straw. I like using a heat gun. So all those bubbles are gone. There is absolutely none on the rim or anything, and I'm placing my stickers face down. You can also do this the opposite way if you want. If your mold is not shiny, you can actually do the back part, which would be the color part of your pieces, and just pour it down on the bottom. And then when you put your stickers and things in, it would be on top. So then you're going to flip your stickers over so it would be facing upwards instead of upside down, facing towards the bottom. But I like doing it this way, and all my molds are shiny. It's kind of my obsession. I like having shiny molds. So I'm just facing them all down, and they're all different types of stickers. I like the holography kind of epoxy ones and the clear ones. So there's like some Berry Puppy, there's some Jewel Pets. I also have some puffy stickers. These are kind of a pain in the butt when you use them into resin because they tend to float, so you need to go back and check on them every now and then throughout the period of time that your first layer is curing. You'll be fine after the first layer is cured because they won't move after that, but they will float a lot and move around and kind of drift. So the bigger the piece, the more problem you'll have. But the rest of these are all fine. Pretty much once you put them down, they won't move. And now I'm just taking some glitter and I'm just putting it like into a plain mold that just has some resin in it. It's just some clear resin. And I'm sprinkling colored glitter just all along in it. And it will slowly kind of move away from each other and kind of mixy-ish with each other. So it almost creates like a strange gradient sort of effect. So here's all the pieces on the first layer. If any stickiness is kind of through and you can feel it on the back of the sticker, once you put the back layer, your colored part, and your doming, you won't feel any stickiness from any stickers. It's basically just to keep them in place. Especially with the puffy stickers, it's very hard to cover them. You would end up with a very thick piece if you tried to cover the whole thing with your first layer of resin to get rid of any stickiness. But if you feel more comfortable that way, you can, especially if the mold is thick enough. Gemstones will turn transparent, so if you weren't planning on that, you can always just put a gem back over the top of the other gem if you have another one. Here's that star piece that I used the glitter for. I'm going to dome it with white, so it'll look like a really pretty pastel-y kind of transparent sparkly star. I'm going to be doming my pieces now, so I'm just mixing more resin. Like I've already said, you don't have to mix your resin super slow. You can go ahead and mix it fairly quickly. You will have bubbles, but as long as you have a heat gun or like a really strong hot breath and using a straw, then you should be able to pop all those bubbles. I love using my heat gun. Like honestly, with the arthritis type hands, I don't want to be wasting a whole lot of time mixing my resin up. So I just put some liquid pigment, it's by Cast & Craft, in my resin. I'm just mixing it up till it turns a solid a white color. And now I put some glitter in there, putting some sparkly star glitter in there. Don't put anything too chunky. If you're going to use things like cellophane glitter, you need to make sure that you cut it up some. And now I'm pouring the doming mixture on top of the back of my resin pieces. If you're not very comfortable with pouring it on the back of your pieces, or maybe they're too small, just use like your mixing stick or popsicle stick, lollipop stick, and just kind of like pick it up and drip it on, and then you move it out to the sides. And you want to be careful that you don't go over too far on the sides, or else it's going to spill over across the top of your piece, which is another reason why I like these type of mats, but I was being risky with one of them. So just go over the sides as far as you can. And it helps if you look at your pieces when you're doming from the sides every now and then, so then you can see if it went all the way to the edges or not. If you miss some spots, just carefully kind of push it over to the sides. I'm going to use my heat gun again. And it popped all those bubbles that I had on the back. If you can, cover up your pieces to keep dust off. And I'm going to be sticking my bails onto the back of my pieces. So I use E6000 glue. You can use eye screws as well, but you would have to use a drill and drill your holes using a small drill. This is the size that I use. So I'm going to put some E6000 glue on the back of one of my old business cards from when I first started. And I put my E6000 glue in a little bag with a rubber band, so if anything drips out, because E6000 glue is really annoying and it just kind of comes out from the side of the bottle or the thing. So make sure that it doesn't get all over everything else. So I just took some E6000 glue on the back of the bail. I'm going to stick it on the back of my piece. If you have any rough edges on the back of your pieces, in my opinion, I think it's better to dome the back of the piece first and then sand it off. So that's why I did not sand it off now. I do it after. Make sure that you wipe off your extra E6000 so there isn't a whole bunch on the back. Make sure it's even, because once it dries, it's not going to go anywhere. And that's the piece with the bail on it. I'm just going to go through and continue all the rest of the pieces that I had with the E6000 glue. If you're going to be putting eye screws in, drill your holes very cleanly, get off all the extra little bits from your screws. I tend to just rub mine on my jeans or something to get all the little bits off. And then I use Glossy Accents. It's by Ranger, and I put that on the hole, just like a little dab of it. And then when I screw it in, I use a embroidery needle. It's a metal one because it's not very sharp. And I just put that through the eye screw, and then I twist it, so it's easier for me to twist it on than just using the tips of my fingers. But that is the whole tutorial. I hope that I taught you guys something, that it was helpful. If you stick gems and things on your pieces, use Glossy Accents instead of E6000, because E6000 creates a little cracked look. If you want that look, you can do that, but in any other case, you probably don't. But thank you guys for watching. With much quiet love, I'll see y'all later. Love you. Bye.